In this lesson, we will cover modeling ductwork and adding duct fittings and accessories. When adding ductwork to your building model, you can either use the duct tool or an existing duct connector in the model. On the Systems ribbon, in the HVAC panel, click Duct to activate the duct tool. The first thing you should do when placing duct is select the correct type in the type selector. For this example, I'll select mitered elbows T's. Next, you can control the size in the options bar. Depending on whether you are creating rectangular duct, oval duct, or round duct, these controls will change. You can also set the middle elevation in the options bar or in the Properties palette. In the Properties palette, you can also set the bottom elevation or the top elevation of the duct, and the other parameters will adjust accordingly. I'll click Modify to end the command, and then I'll zoom in and select a fan coil unit. This mechanical equipment component has several connectors. You can see that there are connector labels to indicate the supply connector and the return connector. You can also right-click a connector and a Draw Duct option will appear in the shortcut menu. For this example, I'll select the supply connector label. When I do, the duct tool activates and the starting point of the duct segment is at the duct connector. In the options bar, you can see that the size parameters have updated along with the middle elevation. This is to match the connector properties. I'll click to place a duct segment, and then you can see that a new segment is beginning at the end of the existing segment. I'll change the size, and then I'll click to place another segment. When I do, a reducing fitting has been placed to keep the duct segments connected. I'll move the cursor at a 90-degree angle and then click again. Once again, an elbow fitting was added to keep the duct segments connected. At this point, I can continue the duct run, or I can press Escape once to end that run and keep the duct tool active. There are also controls in the contextual ribbon to help you model ductwork. The justification controls will allow you to control whether you are justified to the left or right side or the top or bottom if you want to model eccentric ductwork or using eccentric reducers, or you can keep it at the center. Automatically connect will allow you to connect to existing components, and then inherit elevation and inherit size will do just that. When you snap to an existing duct segment, you can inherit those parameters. Or you can press the space bar and it will both inherit the elevation, the size, and the system type. When tag on placement is toggled on, duct tags will be placed on each duct segment that you create. For this example, I'll expand the type selector and I'll select round duct taps. I'll also set the diameter to 6 inches, and I'll leave the middle elevation at the current value so that it will match the rectangular duct segments I've placed. I'll connect to the side of the rectangular duct and I'll place a short segment. When I do, the round duct is tapped into the side of the rectangular duct. If you want to continue placing segments, you can simply click. I will change the middle elevation to 10 feet and then move my cursor and click, and you can see that fittings were placed so that there is a drop in the duct. I'll click Modify to end the command. Revit will do its best to place fittings to keep duct segments connected, but sometimes it won't be able to do this, and you may get a warning. And this is because there wasn't enough room to place a fitting. On the Systems ribbon in the HVAC panel, there are also tools for duct fittings and duct accessories. As you can see, duct fittings were automatically placed, but you may need to place duct fittings manually in special circumstances. But for the most part, I would recommend allowing Revit to place those fittings automatically as you're creating duct segments. You will place duct accessories quite often though, and this includes things like fire dampers and filters. We'll place a fire damper, but first let's create a return duct, and we'll place it through this wall, and then I'll click Modify to end the command. Let's say we need a fire damper in the duct that passes through the wall. When I click Duct Accessory, I can then expand the type selector and select the accessory I want to place. If the accessory you want to place is not available, you can load it into the project. As you can see, some of these families have several sizes, and some just have a standard size. I'll click Standard under Fire Damper Rectangular, and we'll place a rectangular fire damper. But before I do, this one has instance parameters to control the duct width and height, whereas the other ones had types created for each size. I'll simply click close to the area I want to place it, and the duct accessory is placed in the duct. If needed, I can select it and drag it in the duct, but you'll notice that I'm also moving the mechanical equipment as well, and so you should be careful when doing something like this, because in this case there's really not anything that's constraining it in the horizontal direction here. You can also select a duct segment and click Cap Open Ends, and a cap will be placed at the end of the duct. And now at this point we could connect the return in here if we needed to. We're obviously just creating some examples here to show the various functionality. And so that is how you can place ductwork and place accessories in the ductwork to model your duct systems.